Hey everyone, it's video blog time. I had a crazy weekend where I did a lot of singing, so voice is a little tired. But one of the things I like to do when I sing a lot is I like to come down a little bit and talk softly, you know. And video blog is a perfect thing to do that with. And there have been a couple in the past where I've used the video blog to kind of like warm down a little bit. So with that said, might as well talk about, well, singing. I did a singing video blog last year, and I haven't followed it up yet, so I'll do that now. So I'm gonna give 3 different tips on this video blog, and try to keep it short. Of course, I always say that, but you know how that goes. Brought a little microphone right here. It's an AKG C1000S. It's good for a lot of different things. I recorded the Star Peaches narration and the voices with this right here. I believe the new version of Beauty Lotto, the vocals were done with this. But the reason why I brought this was to kind of talk about tip number 1 here. Which is, I don't really know how to phrase this really, but trusting your equipment. Do not underestimate equipment. I guess that kind of covers it. The first tip is to, learn about the equipment you use to sing live. You can't underestimate this. It's a very important thing, and I'll start it with this bit of info. Almost every artist, and in fact, every artist you look up to, every vocalist, probably takes it serious, knows what they use, or at least someone around them knows what they use, depending on how big they are. Some artists may be big to the point where they don't worry about it, but I think for the most part, a good singer is going to know what they use, and they're going to know a lot about it at this point. The venues they sing in, they're going to know what they use, their mic, their microphone, the compression, the compressors, the effects. They'll know what they like, and they'll know what makes their voice sound best. And if for some reason they don't care about equipment or the whole tech side of singing, the people around them will. So it gets covered at some point. Do not underestimate equipment and tech, and just the whole geek side of singing. It's super, super important. And I'll cover a couple different angles on this. Okay, you may say, oh, let's see. Let's take Andrea Bocelli, right? Great vocalist. I'm not sure how you would label his genre, but there's a little bit of opera in there, pop vocal, classic. Just you've got a lot of variety. But at this point we're getting to one of the best vocals on the planet, right? Just such a rich vocal. And he's an older man, so his voice it's deep, and it's just got a lot of tone. So, what would happen if Andrea Bocelli, who I'm guessing has a huge voice, regardless whether his mic is too soft or not, if you hear him in a room, I guarantee his voice just takes up this massive space, big voice. Nevertheless, he needs a good mic, and he needs good sound people, and he needs someone who's going to take care of him vocally, with his sound person. And I'm sure he knows that, and I'm sure he's, expects no less than the best when it comes to sound, because the best voice deserves the best sound, okay? And here's the thing. Got a very dynamic voice, very, very dynamic voice, and this is why I chose Andrea Bocelli to prove this point. You can do that. You can do it with every singer, but I think he's a good voice to talk about. I mean, sometimes he's singing, really, really soft. You think that, he can power that through a mic? No, absolutely not. He shouldn't. It is soft. You know, it's a soft note. You can't say, oh, hey, Andrea, sing louder. No, it should be sung soft. But what happens if the sound man is sleeping on the job, or his sound is too low? You're not gonna hear him, right? I'm sorry, it's basic, but the truth of the matter is that it needs to be loud. So, you know, if you watch him sing, you'll probably, I haven't even watched this to be sure, but I can guarantee, I mean, I've seen him perform many times, but I can guarantee he's singing from somewhere like, maybe like this. And he's probably, you know, going, you know, getting closer, getting further as he sings. Because when those big notes come, it's gonna want to be more like here, you know. Michael Bublé is a great person to watch for this because, I mean, he'll take this mic all the way like down here. It's incredible actually, and not only is it incredible that he's got that power, but it's incredible because there's somebody you know manning the soundboard that you know knows what they're doing, and he's down here, and then he'll come up here to talk or to sing something really really soft, but. I'm sorry, when you get into the world of singing, you can't underestimate this factor. It's so important. And you could say, well, that's pop, you know, or opera, or you know, different classic kind of singing. No, look around. Bono, he's over here. You know, he's got that dynamic range, and he's got that. He's good enough to understand where he should be singing. EQing, obviously, if you're not a big star, you're gonna be, you know, you're gonna be in very very close proximity to the mix board. So make sure you sound good. You know, you don't want it to be too shrill. You don't want to have no treble, all very bassy. You know, you don't want that. You want it to your voice to shine. You want it to sound pleasing. So figure that out. Learn how to use EQ. Learn how to use compression. Compression is great for, you know, for setting up your vocal to where you can sing with ease, like what we're talking about with the dynamics. You know, for some reason, if you're getting a little too loud, I mean, it'll you know, back the volume down a little bit. You know, noise gate, all that stuff. Of course, if you're using limited equipment, you do what you can with it. EQ it good and use good mic dynamics and, you know, mic placement skills. You know, work on that. So that's my first tip. It may sound like, you know, well, that's not really singing, right? No, but it's part of it. It's a huge, you know, it's a huge slice of the pie of, if the pie, you know, stands for your entire skill set of singing. It's part of it. Trust me, it really, really is the people you look up to. I mean, they do not take this for granted. It's a massive thing. I mean, think about this. They play in stadiums, they play in arenas or big clubs or maybe small venues, but when they play in those big venues, all you're hearing is the sound, right, coming out of the microphone. So you know, those $300 tickets you bought, you know, you're depending on the sound man making, you know, this sound great, getting that voice over to 80,000 people, you know. So it's very, very important, even when you're paying 40 people in a small venue. Unless you're, you know, singing in a room that hopefully has good acoustics, unless you're singing, you know, without microphones, you're gonna want to worry about this. Okay, so I guess in a nutshell, worry about the tech side of singing as well. It's huge. So next, I know what the last tip is going to be, but I kind of wanted to leave that until the end. The middle one was, oh, okay, yeah. You know, performing and singing is a subjective thing. Okay, you can perform to 100 people. 5 people can perform to 100 people, and people are gonna have different opinions of everyone, and, you know, on any given day it can change. And this is very similar to the tip I gave on the first video blog about singing, about not over singing, but and once again, I'm trying to word this right. But this second tip is embrace the entire universe of singing. of your voice. Embrace your entire voice, okay? And when I say universe, I mean like, the entire, just everything about your voice. Embrace it, okay? Because you're gonna want to do that. And it doesn't matter if you're screaming, it doesn't matter if you're singing opera, if you're singing, jazz or pop or hard rock. You're gonna want to embrace everything that your voice has to offer, okay? And the reason you want to do that is you don't want to just say, all right, all I care about is vocal runs, right? I can't wait till it gets to the vocal runs. And you may say, well, yeah, common sense, right? Well, no, it's not. Countless times I see singers that just want to skip over everything and get to that one thing they really want to do. Vocal runs or hitting that high note, in hard rock, like that AC/DC kind of singing where it's like, I do that a lot in my songs. But it doesn't mean I want to skip over it, over everything and get to that and just, if your favorite thing about singing is, vibrato, don't skip over everything to get to it. Or say you want to hit low notes, don't skip over everything else to get to low notes. Now, different singers have different skill sets, a different range of things they do well. Sometimes some singers do one thing really, really well. Well, protect that, okay? Protect that and find a way to, protect it. And at the end of the day, what you don't want is to have people be tired of your voice before the show is even done. Now, and I think I've mentioned this before on the first video blog, but I'm going to say it again. Things are a little different depending on the performance, okay? If you're an artist and you're maybe performing in a talent show or like a contest, well, that may be a little different because you're going to be judged on, say, maybe one song, two songs, and time is precious. You're going to want to give your best out for the most part within those two songs. So you can get in trouble if you don't throw everything out on the table. Now you got to be a good judge of that because sometimes you can overdo it as well, and that may cost you. Depends on the judges really on how they view things. That can get complicated, I know. But I don't think it hurts to kind of really see nuance like that. Which I mentioned that in my last video blog. You want to really, really love the art and look under every stone. Who are the judges, right? Whatever this fake talent show is, I say that because obviously there isn't a talent show in front of my face right now. But you're performing in a talent show or a contest, and you want to win this thing, right? Well, who's judging it? What do they judge? What do they like? Well, figure it out, and then you can base your performance off of what you know. For the most part, I'm not talking to that situation. I am talking to performers that perform shows, multiple songs, that where the story and where the performance tell the story has a almost like a movie. There's an arc to the storytelling, because I think that is the hardest hitting. And that's why a lot of times in like talent shows and contests and singing shows, sometimes being silly can pay off. Sometimes being extreme can pay off. It's like a viral video. You don't have a lot of time to impress, so boom, 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 it's all there, right? Well, when you're doing, that's great, and I'm not really interested in that sort of thing. I don't really do those sort of things. In fact, I've been meaning to do a video blog about singing shows and contests for a while, but I kind of been pushing it to the side. I'll do it soon, so you know where I stand on that. That's not my thing. I enjoy the show, which is 7 songs, 8 songs, takes you through a maze of emotions, and that's what I like, and that's who I'm talking to. Now this can be performed in any genre, so I feel it's a very, very wide thing, and lots of people can relate to the things I'm saying, I think. And in this case, you want to embrace all the parts of your voice, okay? You don't want to just get to the part that you love, and I think you should love all of it, okay? I love all of the parts of my voice. I like to sing soft. I like to sing loud. I like to crack here and there depending on the emotion. I like to sing high. I sure do love that. I like to sing powerfully. those are just the different parts of my voice, and I like to do that. I like to get emotional. Sometimes I like to not be emotional. I like to be kind of bland because it all has its place. You know, say someone says, "Oh, you need to go see Chris in concert," right? You need to go see Chris sing. Maybe the first song doesn't have all that much, or maybe I'm building up to something. But I feel that people go home and they remember snapshots of shows. They don't remember the entire show, right? We don't remember our lives every second, right? That would make us go crazy. We have memories, little memories here and there that span our whole lives. When people go home from a show, I want them to remember parts of the show, not the entire thing. All right, you might be a huge fan of an artist and you'll know everything that happened during the show, but the next day you may not remember it like that. You remember, I like that part, I like that part, and I like that part. It may not all be voice related. You may like the sound, the lights. I like how that color, during that song, and the spotlight or whatever, but there's some parts you'll remember of the voice, not the entire concert of the voice, some parts. So I like to set it up to where I'm only going to do, the highest emotional part of the show. It's not going to be the entire show. It's going to go in dips, like a roller coaster. I enjoy that, and I think that the best concerts are like that. I think the best singers, at least the ones that I think are the best, they're like that. Celine Dion, Andrea Bocelli, Axl Rose, Freddie Mercury. I can keep on going. These are all the people that I look up to. James Brown, Michael Jackson, these great vocalists, Tori Amos. Their shows go like this. They're not just boom, boom, boom the entire show. Even Axl Rose, who's got like a very, very harsh, high vocal, he's not always doing that, right? Sometimes he's singing in a different voice, and then he'll get there. That's what I like, and that's how that's what I've learned from Bono. Bono's the best at this. Bono's like holding back the entire show, little, in bits and pieces, and then boom, he hits these big notes, and you're like, oh wow, he can do that still, right? Maybe part of it is saving his voice, because that's part of, the package of being a singer. You're gonna have to learn how to deal with your voice, and it's it comes from you, so you have to take care of it, of course. But that's part of it, and that's what's so special about singing. And it's part of the person. It's the only instrument that it's coming from in here. Obviously guitar you play, drums you play, saxophone you that comes out of your air. It comes out of you also. But the singing is your voice. It's part of you, so it's special, and you got to take care of it. And you have to hold back and give all at different times. It's such a complicated thing, but the emotion is so simple. The emotion people take from it is so simple that makes me feel sad or happy or makes me think. All these different things. That's why singing is so special, and that's why this tip of embracing all the parts of your vocal, I think is so important. And it's different for everybody, because you sing differently than I do, and she sings differently, and he sings differently, and you sing differently. But you're going to want to embrace all the different things you do and get good at all those things, so that you can just basically be playing. Honestly, it's like playing chess with the people in the audience, but it's a fun game of chess, and you want them to enjoy it. Because if you go full force on the most highest level of what you do the entire show, you will bore people. You will make people say, well, that's all they do, or yeah, they need to do something else. Trust me, that's what people do. They do that. Now, you may say someone like, let's take Johnny Cash's voice, right? He had this gravelly, deep voice, right? But that's not all he did the whole show, and it's deceiving. You may say, oh, well, yeah, how many notes did he have? He's always singing deep. Well, listen to his music, and you'll start understanding that he had variety too. It's not your job to dissect it, it's just your job to enjoy it. But if you're the artist, it's your job to dissect yourself and figure out what works best. It's complicated, but the end result should be simple for the people that are sitting there or standing in the audience. The better you get at it, the more simple it is for your audience to enjoy it. And at the end of the day, it makes you happier because the applause is probably better. Don't be scared of the audience if applauding the entire show. Just know that you get it at one point during the show, and in particular, you want to know that your audience went home saying, "That was good, and I'm gonna go back." It's the main thing, I think. So okay, let me recap. Equipment. Don't underestimate it. Learn about it and learn how to make your voice sound better with the equipment. Okay, you have this right here. You're gonna always have that. You're gonna always want to have that, right? It's your voice. You gotta take care of it. But this, do not underestimate it. Learn about it. Second, embrace the entire universe of what your voice has to offer. Build it. Work it out, practice, but in the end, know what you do well and use it. Use it in the arc of a show, okay? In the storyline, the storytelling of your performance arts. And hold back here and there, then give it all. Then hold back again, give it all again. Figure it out, okay? And use it to tell a story with your voice. So I don't know how I would say that in just one sentence. Embrace all of your voice is how I would say it, I guess. So equipment, and then embrace all your voice. 3, and I'll end with this one. Film yourself, record yourself. But I say film yourself because that if you film yourself, you'll also hear yourself as well. But you'll get to see yourself as a performer too at the same time. Do that a lot because it's not vain. It's not an egotistical thing. It is what it is if you want to get better. There is so much you could film yourself to hear yourself and say, oh well, okay, I'm sharp, I'm flat, I don't like that tone, I don't like that tone, I need to work on that, I need to work on that. But then there's the visual too, and trust me, it's something, okay? I'm gonna use the microphone again. Those pictures you see, you're like, and that's the one that ends up going up on Facebook, You're like eating your microphone, All right, you don't like that face, right? Okay, well, look in the mirror, record yourself. Filming is better because, the mirror is obviously not the angle people are actually seeing. Mirror, image. I don't know, I'm confused. But yeah, obviously people see you from their own eyes and you want to see yourself how people see you, right? Film yourself, watch it. And be tough on yourself. All right, I don't like the way I dress. I don't like the way my mouth opens up when I sing those big notes. Maybe I look up when I sing those big notes. Does that look good? I don't know. Show it around. Tell people to be honest with you. You want to have an image that looks good when you sing. Now you may say, Chris, what does that have to do with vocals? It has, well, okay, if you're just a recording artist that all you do is you sing in the studio, maybe that means nothing then, right? But if I'm speaking to the people that perform shows, that are singers, that want to improve, and part of that is also the performance, and part of the performance is the way you look as well. Now granted, there's a huge variety here. It comes in all shapes and sizes. You can be who you want to be, okay? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you can't be who you want to be. Be whoever you want to be, in whatever size you are, whatever shape you are, whatever race you are, whatever, everyone has a chance, okay? I'm not saying that you have to be something you're not, okay? You have something beautiful to offer, okay? That's the truth. But what you want to do is become the best version of that thing you want to be. Sorry if things are, that may not be the most nice word to use, but what I'm saying is be the best you can possibly be, okay? And to do that, you're gonna have to be harsh on yourself, okay? You're going to have to look in the mirror, you have to film yourself, and you have to say, I don't like that face. And chances are it's gonna happen naturally. You're gonna be like, oh goodness, do I really look like that when I perform? Yes, you do. But the more you film yourself, the better you'll get, the more comfortable you'll get. And you also don't want to become over paranoid about it, because you're gonna take all the you out of you, and you don't want that. So, you know, be open about it. I'm sorry if there's so much nuance in all these details I'm giving, but I'm sorry. Arts can be complicated, and it's not all in scales. It's not all in the technical side of things. It's a combination of things. So embracing all your vocals and getting good at all that is one thing. The tech side is another thing. In the last video blog, I talked about not over singing, because it's a big thing. I see it all the time. Don't over sing, and also sing from your experiences. Like in the last video blog, those are the two things. You're gonna want to sing from the things you know. It's important. But this last tip on this video blog is to film yourself. Kind of brings it all home. It's the reality. It kind of reminds me of in sports too. It's very important to film. I play a lot of tennis, and for some reason in tennis, players always think they're hitting really hard, or they think they're hitting like the pros or something, right? Yeah, it's for some reason in sports you think you're like, you know, you kind of feel like you're you know, oh man, I'm hitting just like, you know, Roger Federer, right? Boom, it feels that way. But then you film yourself and oh man, good Lord, it all changes when you watch yourself hit that tennis ball. You know, you're like, that's really slow, because you watch professional tennis on TV, then you watch you hitting, you're like, well, that doesn't look like a pro, because you're not. You know, and it's the same thing with singing. It's well, you know, I thought so and so sounded bad, but then I hear myself and I sound way worse. You know, you watch the late shows, or Saturday Night Live, and you watch these big artists perform, and maybe you're hard on them, but then you realize after filming yourself, you're like, well, maybe I'm a little too hard on them. They actually sound pretty good. Yeah. You know, these performers perform all the time, so they got the practice, they got all the good equipment, you know, so at that point, you know, they get pretty good at their craft. Granted, yes, there are some that sound absolutely horrible sometimes, but, you know, for the most part, you get professionals at some point in the big time. So film yourself a lot. You can't do it too much, to be honest, because you can keep on coming out with new things. You'd be surprised when you put it all together. That is what creates the performance. You know, singing is one thing, and obviously this, in the end, this is singing. It's part of singing. If you're a studio musician only, well then, you know, obviously it's different. But to the people that I'm talking to, you know, all these tips are very important. Filming yourself brings it all home. It's the reality of things. It's like when you hear your voice for the first time when it's recorded, right, on voice memo or something. You're like, wait, do I sound like that? Yes, you do actually. But the more you do it, and the more used to yourself, you get that combination of saying, well, I don't like that. Then after a while, it's like, well, I do like my voice now. You know, when you work on it, you work on all those things, and after a while, you're like, I like that. I don't want to change that. Oh, I don't like that. I want to change that. You know, it's a combination. So film yourself. And then you'll, you know, maybe get your little moves or whatever, and you bring it all home. So yeah, that's it. It's almost at 30 minutes, so I'll end it there. So just to summarize, equipment is very important, and it's a huge part of the battle of being a good singer. Embracing all of your vocals. Don't just, you know, don't just want to get to that one part of the singing. You know, embrace it all, and get good at it all. Get good at it all. Become a storyteller with your voice. And I'm sorry if that's something that you kind of don't understand yet. Just listen to the people you look up to. Look at the variety in their voices, and find the variety in your voice. I'm not saying copy them. Find the variety in your voice. But of course, we are all a combination of the people we love. So listen to your own voice and say, okay, I have a soft voice, I have a hard voice, I have this, I have that, and then build your set around that, you know, and hold back when you can, push when you can, tell that story. Okay, so those are 2 things. 3, film yourself, and film yourself a lot. I don't care if it seems vain, I don't care if it's, some people will say, oh, well, just do you, man, be you. Yes, do you, be you, but film yourself so you can be the best you that you can possibly be. Man, I find things all the time. In fact, just recently, let me get I'll just use my guitar. Pretend this is the bass. My Hofner bass, right? And I know this had nothing to do with singing, but just to end this off, bring my point home. I'm always learning about things, okay? I always film myself. I always see people's videos when they film me. Hofner bass, got 2 pickups, right? One here, one here. Well, I noticed that I had been playing really up here because it's very hard to play the Hofner in the middle because there's no like place to put your thumb. But all the videos I see, I like the way I'm holding it, right? I'm kind of like this with it, and I bring it up here sometimes, and I drop it a little bit. Fine, I like that. But to me, the fingers and the hand way up here, I don't know, it looks a little awkward. There's a lot of body sticking out over here, and it just, if you're like OCD or something, you'll be like, damn it, Chris, move it to the middle, you know, that sort of thing. And I believe all that matters, okay? So the last couple gigs and the last couple practices, I have been focusing on putting my hand here with the Hofner bass, which is in the middle of the 2 pickups, you know? And I see the videos and I'm like, that looks so much better. It just, you know, it's just a bunch of nuance like that, you know. So I've been working on that, and you know, I'm kind of getting used to how it feels to play in the middle. The tension's a little different there, so I got to get used to it. But it's just stuff like that. Now I'm not saying to change everything you are, but see who you are, see who you want to be, and fix the things that maybe are a little awkward. Because in the end, we want people to like what we do. If you don't, then you know, all the power to you. But anyways, those are the 3 tips. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, rock on.